What is the secret to a faster 5k time? How can I actually run sub 40 minutes in the 10k? What in the world do I need to change in order to run a sub 3-hour marathon? These are all questions that get asked by tens of thousands of runners across the world throughout their running journey. And you've clicked on this video, which means you probably want to know the answers too. Now, I personally have asked all of these questions throughout my journey to becoming a better runner. In fact, I ran my first ever 5k in 28 minutes and 47 seconds, and my current PB stands at 17 minutes and 54 seconds. So what did I do to shave over 10 minutes off of my 5k time and become a naturally faster runner across all distances? Well, unfortunately, I don't know the one simple change that will instantly make you faster. But what I do know is a combination of tips and tricks that you can incorporate into your training to help you become a faster runner across any distance. And that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video. Let's go. So straight off the bat, we're starting with consistency. And this doesn't mean running every day like David Goggins for the next 2 months. This means finding a routine that fits into your current life, sticking to it, and consistently showing up and holding yourself accountable. In the running world, there's an analogy about bricks. Now, everyone knows that you can't build a house with just one brick, but give yourself 10, 15, 20, even 100 bricks, and you can start making some pretty good progress towards your house. And the same thing goes for running. You see, you're not just going to get faster after one specific session or even after 1 week of training. But if you consistently show up to your easy runs, to your weekend long runs, and even to your absolutely horrific tempo sessions week in, week out, then over the next 2 to 4 months, you'll start making yourself a pretty nice pile of bricks. And these bricks don't only come from the 10 out of 10 sessions where you finish feeling like you could conquer the world. In fact, the majority of your bricks are probably going to come from sessions where you finish feeling pretty average. Imagine you ran 12 times in a month and 9 of the runs left you feeling pretty average and only 3 of the runs left you with that 10 out of 10 conquer the world feeling. Which set of runs do you reckon actually played the biggest role in improving your fitness? The truth is, it's kind of a trick question, because without the average days, you can't have your good days. And because you're consistently exposing your muscles to the strain running puts on them, they'll start to develop a resistance to this added stress, which in turn makes your muscles grow and makes them stronger. And when your muscles start to get stronger, it means you can push them just that little bit further, which in our case means running just that little bit faster. Now that you've got some consistency within your training, you want to start thinking about increasing your weekly volume. And it may seem weird that we're talking about running further in a video that is tailored to running faster, but you've got to trust the process. You see, one of the best ways to get better and more efficient at something is to progressively practice it for longer periods of time. And that massively applies to running. A good rule of thumb to follow is to increase your weekly volume by around 10% each week. Now, I know you're probably all thinking that 10% seems like nothing and you might not even notice the increase each week. That's kind of the point. As that 10% compounds over time, you'll be running an additional 5 to 10 miles each week without even noticing. For example, let's say you run 10 miles in your first week of training. That means in week 2, you'll run 11 miles, which is literally an extra 10 minutes of running. By week 4, you'll be running 13.3 miles, which again is only a 20-minute increase from week 2. But by week 8, you'll be running just under 20 miles, and after 3 months of training, week 12's total is 28.5 miles. Now, where you add these extra miles on each week completely differs depending on what you're training for and how many times you run per week. But as a baseline, try to keep 70 to 80% of your weekly volume at the easy conversational paces. And then for the remaining 20 to 30%, run these at either your race pace or faster. Moving on to a tip which is a lot less about metrics, I want to talk about enjoyment, because achieving your new PB is going to be so much easier if you can learn to enjoy and embrace the process. Forgot my tripod. Essentially, you need to find something that motivates you to get your running shoes on, get out the door, and get your weekly sessions done. And don't get me wrong, this is 100% going to change over the course of your training. And if you're sat at home right now wondering what in the world you might enjoy about running, here's some things that I enjoy that you might too. So firstly is new running gear, and I actually find this enjoyable for two different reasons. Firstly, there's items of clothing that I wear to run which genuinely make me feel like I could conquer the world, and the fact that they give me that mindset makes whatever session I'm doing so much easier to process. And secondly, spending a good chunk of money on some new running gear can actually be the motivation you need to get out the door. Imagine you spent 200 quid on a new pair of running shoes just for them to sit in the closet. You're now down 200 quid and you have literally nothing to show for it. Now, I won't lie, running can be a really lonely sport, and that is exactly why you should try and run with someone. As lonely as it can be, running is also one of the most accessible sports in the entire world, and that is exactly why you should try and find yourself either a run club or a run buddy. This can be a group of people who are working towards the same goal as you, or even could be people who are slightly better than you that can really test you and push you to your limits. And then finally, if you're finding that your running is a little bit stagnant, try and find new routes. Genuinely, there is something so exciting about running in a new place or finding a hidden gem in your local area that you never knew existed. Not to mention, this is also a great way to find specific routes to use on your favourite sessions. And if you're bored of where you live, just hop on a bus and go into your local city. Running through tons of people is actually more motivating than you might think. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a different set of clothes, it's because I never got round to filming the second part of this video yesterday. So I'm filming it today. Anyway, now that we're enjoying running consistently, it's time to do some tailored workouts to help us actually achieve our goal. Now, in order to actually go into full detail about specific workouts for each distance, I would need to make a whole video per distance. But because I don't want to send you away from this video just yet, here's some super simple but super effective workouts you can do no matter what distance you're training for. For anyone training for a 5K, I'd highly recommend doing a 1K repeats workout. This workout is broken down into a 500 meter warm up, 5 1K repeats with a 500 meter jog in between each rep, and then finish the session off with a 500 meter cool down. The whole aim of this workout is to try and run the 1K repeats at your target race pace. For anyone training for the 10K, we're going to stick with the same 1K repeats workout, but we're going to increase the volume. Start the session with a 1K warm up and then follow this up with 8 1K repeats with a 1.5 minute walking rest in between each rep. And then of course, finish the session with a 1K cooldown. Again, the whole aim of this session is to try and hit your target 10K race pace within the 1K repeats. And trust me, these repeats aren't going to be easy, so make sure you don't set off too fast for the first couple. For anyone looking to hit a new half marathon PB, I'd highly recommend doing a good old-fashioned progression run. Start your run with 3 miles easy and then progress this into 3 miles at your steady, comfortable pace, and then finish the session off with 4 miles at either tempo or your race pace. And then of course, give yourself some form of cooldown at the end of the session. If you want to see a more in-depth video on specific workouts for specific types of distances, let me know which ones in the comments below and I'll try and get a video made for each. I'm pretty sure we've only got one tip left. We do. We're on to the final tip. My final tip for all of you is don't sprint before you can run. Set the right expectations from day one. If you're someone who has never ran before, the chances are your journey to a sub 20-minute 5K is going to look very different to someone who already has 3 to 6 months of fitness under their belt. That in no way, shape or form means you can't do it, it just means you might do it in a different way. Something I would highly recommend doing when you set out on achieving a new goal is a benchmark test. This is just a great way of seeing where your fitness levels currently are and just how far you've got to go to achieve your goal. If you think you can run your target distance without injuring yourself, Give it a shot and just see how far you get. This is a brilliantly simple way to figure out either how far you've got to go to reach your target distance or just how much time you need to shave off to reach your target time. And to end the tips on the most honest note possible, running is not pretty, it's not attractive, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows. But it is super rewarding, extremely good for you, and one of the most loved sports worldwide with a super inviting community. So don't worry about anyone else's journey, take it one session at a time and do everything at your own pace. These pointers aren't the only things that will make you faster. In fact, they barely even make a dent in the list. But they are some of the easiest things to change within your training that most people will have access to, which will make a massive impact. If you found the amount of different things you can do a little bit overwhelming, just pick one and then slowly incorporate more and more as you progress through your running journey. Because every single tip in this video works great on its own as well as in a cohort of other tips. I want to end this video by saying a massive thank you for all of the support my channel has received recently. I've literally been doing YouTube for like 2 months and all of the support I receive on every single video I post is so motivating. And without it, I don't think I'd put anywhere near as much effort into all of these videos for you. So as always, if you've enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like as it means so much more to me than you might initially think. And I'm curious, leave a comment below with any tips that you've tried and tested that have helped you become a faster runner. We're also only 11 weeks away from the Manchester Marathon, so if you don't want to miss any of the preparation work, I'd highly recommend going down and hitting that subscribe button. That's all from me, I'll catch you in the next one, and don't forget, no bad days. Well, ain't nobody but love me better than you.